Hey everyone, hope you guys are having a great afternoon. I am so sorry for being late if you were watching this live. We had some breaking news. I built the whole show out. We were ready to go. And then something new came in. So I had to get all the information on that, get a video made for Insta and TikTok. And anyways, I apologize for being late, guys, but we're going to talk about that soon. Anyways, appreciate you joining me. For those of y'all who are watching on Instagram, Facebook, appreciate you guys as well. Make sure if you are new here to hit the follow button on whichever platform. Same thing with you guys, TikTok. For anybody who wants to jump over to, well, for anybody on TikTok who wants to jump over to YouTube, we are going to show some pictures today about the raid that is going on. A lot of y'all have asked me if the raid that you guys have heard about going on at the Brooklyn Detention Center is real. It 100% is. We're going to talk about that as well. And I've got pictures from that raid that I can show you guys. So definitely, if you want to jump over to YouTube, please feel free to do that. I am trying to grow the YouTube out as well. So anyways, hit the follow button, all that kind of stuff. That being said, we got to do the housekeeping stuff real quick that we have to do. So we did a book signing live, and I want I'm looking at you guys right now. I got you pulled up right in front of me. I want you to tell me if it's something y'all would want me to do. I have done this on TikTok a numerous amount of times. I did it today. We did a book signing, basically a virtual book signing where you purchase the books, I signed them, we get them out the same day. Let me know if you guys would want that. But I've written 2 books. This one is called Boundaries. So this was basically about, look, with the holidays coming up, a lot of y'all are going to need this. I'm going to tell you that right now. Families are driven apart. It's a really sad thing, but this is a resource for you to explain to your kids why you are no contact, limited contact with a family member in a way that's easy for them to understand, simple for them to digest, doesn't vilify that person. At the same time, teaching them what conditional relationships are so they can avoid them and how to set boundaries. The other book that we wrote right now is called that I've written in the past, The Surprises Are Okay, Secrets Are Not. I'm just going to be real with y'all. I've said this before. I'm just going to own it instead of being, be tiptoe around it or not feel good about saying this, but I'm going to say it anyways. I wrote this book to keep your kids safe because I don't want to do a story on your kids. This book is designed to teach your kids that adults should not be asking them to keep secrets, that surprises have end dates, secrets do not. And there's actually a part at the end of it that you can have a conversation, a dialogue with your kid. And the question is, think of some things that you should tell. What are some things that you should tell a trusted grown-up, even if asked to keep a secret? And there's a list of 10 jumping off points so you can have age-appropriate conversations. Look, y'all, you can purchase this on the TikTok shop, the bundle of the soft covers on TikTok shop for $25, free shipping, or off my website, justinthenickofprime.com for $25, free shipping. It is a minuscule amount of money to invest in keeping your kids safe. And I will sign them, dedicate them to you, and get them out. All right. Please order those. I'm not ordering anymore between now and the holidays. So if we run out, we run out. That's all. Somebody said that this is a scam. Let's talk about that real quick. It is not a scam. My name is Justin. You can see right here on the thing written by me. Here are copies of the books right here. Here's another copy of the book right here. And I have stacks of them. So it is not a scam, and you can just GTFO. Anyways, if you are also here for the first time, like I said, hit that subscribe button. If you are new on YouTube, following. If you are on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, do me a massive solid and do that. Now, that being said, let's get into the news. Let's get into the news, what we have going on, guys. So, like I was saying, there was a breaking news story that happened today, and we're going to get into that in a little bit, but I had a few other things that we wanted to talk about first, right? So somebody said, it's just that we come for the news. I'm going to address this real quick. Normally I don't. I get that you come for the news. I do this for free. I put a lot of hours, time, effort into it. I don't ask for money. I don't ask you guys to give me, super chats. I don't ask for any of that kind of stuff. I've written a book that's a good product. If you don't like the way that I run my channel, you are welcome to get your news elsewhere. That's all. This is a full-time job for me. If you have an issue with it, you are welcome to find your news elsewhere. That's the end of the day. Don't be rude. You won't be warned again. That being said, that was on Instagram, guys. That was on Instagram. Now, that being said, let's get right into this. All right, let's get into this. So, the first thing that we want to talk about here is we got Diddy on the line. Like I said, there's a lot of things that we're going to talk about. I'll kind of tell you what's on the docket for today. We're going to be talking about the fact that Diddy's net worth has dropped substantially. We're going to talk about the latest in regard to the Jamie Foxx allegations. We're going to be talking about his third attempt for bail, which apparently he may be getting a third attempt. We're going to talk about that as well. We're going to talk about the gag order and what's going on with that, and then the detention center raid. And then, of course, there is breaking news. A brand new lawsuit has been filed. I don't know how many total have been filed, but we have details on one of them. And we will be talking about that very shortly here as we go throughout the day, or the show, I should say. Now, so let's talk about Diddy's net worth. Now, here's the thing about Diddy's net worth, guys. A lot of y'all are going to find this to be pretty good news. I think a lot of y'all are going to be happy about this. Like, his empire is crumbling fast since the rest this year. All right, fast. When federal agents stormed into his homes and landed himself behind bars, his net worth took a nosedive that had investors and industry watchers literally gasping. But here's the real information on this. This financial freefall didn't come out of nowhere. Right? It's been a slow motion train wreck in the years making, although the biggest nosedive has happened in the couple months since the raid and the arrest of the few months. Now, these numbers are staggering. Diddy was once a certified billionaire. Forbes confirmed it. Then by 2019, he was down to 740 mil. Today, after the arrest and years of mounting accusations, that 740 is down to about 400. Now, look, 400 is a lot of money. Still, but it's not, it's 600,000 less or 600 million less than the billion. He's lost more than half of his fortune, 60% of his fortune, with the most dramatic drop happening since the arrest and the flood of allegations that came with it. Now, let's talk about how desperate things are getting for him. His legal team tried to use his $48.5 million Miami Beach mansion as collateral for a $50 million bail bond. The judges shot that down real quick. Meanwhile, he's still trying to unload his Los Angeles mansion for $61.5 million, probably to help cover those mounting legal bills and the exodus of business partners. And speaking of the business partners, as a lot of y'all know, they've been jumping ship left and right since his arrest. But even before that, things were going south. Last year, he got into a really nasty battle with Ciroc Vodka. Basically, he claimed racism, that they were only marketing Ciroc in urban areas. Which that partnership, guys, used to be his golden ticket, but it ended up with him settling for basically $200 million, which is pocket change compared to what it was worth in his prime, basically selling it off to them. And then he's been selling off pieces of his empire like a fire sale. Revolt TV, gone. Music catalog, worth pennies on the dollar since he lost rights to many of his biggest hits and gave a lot of those rights back to the artist. And each new accusation, each new legal development seems to chip away more at his wealth. Now, his lawyer, of course, keeps claiming that this is just an unjust prosecution, but the market's already made its judgment. The court of public opinion has already made its judgment. Diddy's pleading not guilty. We know that, but his bank account's has been taking hits that would make a heavyweight boxer wince twice. Anyways, the real story here in this one isn't just about his arrest, though. Losing my train of thought here. But anyway, that's when things are really went into a free fall, though, is after this arrest. And this is all about a man who seemed like he was untouchable. If you missed yesterday's live, which I'll talk about in a second, this man felt that he was untouchable. Nothing could get him, and he dodged every single thing that came at him, never with jail time, being pinned on somebody else. But for somebody who was so untouchable, he is watching his empire crumble in real time. From billionaire to 400 million might sound like he's still doing fine, but in Diddy's world, that's like going from flying the private jet that he has to flying coach. And by the way, that private jet's for sale too. And now with these criminal charges, let's just say his financial advisor probably updating their resumes, because if the pattern since his arrest continues, that 400 million figure might be old news by the time I even finish this sentence. Now, real quick before I get into the next part, I meant to say this at the beginning, but I should. If you missed last night's episode, and this is no matter where you were watching it, if you missed last night's episode, I forgot to put this nifty little image up that I had there. We had on Relentless Aaron. Real name is DeWitt Gilmore, but goes by the pen name Relentless Aaron. He was one of Diddy's first victims very early on. And we had him on for a couple hours sharing his story about how Diddy almost took his life. That, if you missed that or want to see that, that interview is on the Diddy playlist on my YouTube. You can go to it. It is there. It is saved. And I would encourage you, if you want to watch it, because these are a real account from 1996 when Diddy tried to take this guy's life. And you can hear it in his voice. You can hear the pain. He had another guest come up and join him on the phone, somebody who was there the night that happened. And he had me rolling because Diddy apparently kept calling him a little B, and he was like, how are you going to call somebody that when your name is Puff? You know? But we had that on there, and I'm working with him to see if we can do another, I'll just let y'all know, another episode with him and with Natanya, who was the person who was shot in the face during that Club New York shooting in 1999, still has the bullet lodged in her face. So we're trying to get that set up as well. So definitely, like I said, with YouTube particularly, make sure to follow, make sure to hit that notification button so you get notifications whenever we have this going on. Now, let's talk about Jamie Foxx here, because look, this has been a talking point for the last, over the last week for a few different episodes. And as a lot of y'all might recall, we have been talking about the allegations involving Diddy poisoning Jamie Foxx, which allegedly caused Jamie to call the feds on Diddy. And I want to keep you up to date on that. And information changes, right? We have some new information coming out today, even over the weekend. News is fluid, and as new information comes out, we want to make sure that we update you on that and go with the new information. And so because we now have that, I want to give y'all an update on that whole scenario. Now, a quick background for those of y'all who might be completely unfamiliar with this. Jamie Foxx is taping a show called You See What Happened Was. It's a Netflix comedy special, right? Which is the first time he's really been public since his hospitalization last year. And several eyewitnesses who have gone to the tapings of that show claim that Jamie categorically stated that he was the one who called the feds on Diddy after believing that Combs was the reason behind his hospitalization last year. Now, when Jamie Foxx was hospitalized, it sparked numerous rumors, numerous conspiracy theories, including one that he might have been poisoned by someone. And recent allegations made by people who attended his comedy specials in Atlanta earlier this month have leaned into that allegation, claiming that Jamie did say that it was Diddy who was behind this. That Diddy was the one who poisoned him, and that because he poisoned him, he called the feds on him. He called the FBI. And the people who said that were videographer and producer Choke No Joke. He was on an interview with Comedy Hype and said that Fox stated that Diddy, quote unquote, did something to him that resulted in his illness, and that he was the one who called the FBI. Celebrity bodyguard Big Homie CC also echoed the exact same claims in an interview he did with Camp Capone News, claiming that Jamie said that, again, Diddy tried to poison him before his mysterious health crisis. And by the way, going a step further on that, Big Homie CC also said that Diddy tried to poison him three times that he knows of, because there's 3 times that he tested positive for cyanide, and that caused, guess what? Pneumonia. Now he has issues with pneumonia, which, what does that sound like with some of the other people who have been in this entire situation and have died? And I'm not throwing accusations out here, guys. I'm just saying there are some dots that you can connect. Right? Nevertheless, let's talk about the flip side. Actor Dennis L.A. White said something contradictory. He interviewed with Page 6 saying, quote, "People keep asking me if Diddy was responsible. He was not. If he was, I would have been dead," end quote. White said that that was all part of Fox's joke when he mentioned Diddy, and that Jamie didn't directly state that Combs was responsible for his illness. Now, sources close to the situation tell TMZ that during the taping of the comedy special, Jamie did name drop Diddy while speaking about his Atlanta hospital stint, but they're saying that it was all in jest. TMZ said that we're being told Jamie definitely wasn't being serious, despite some reports claiming he was exposing the real story behind this mysterious health scare that he had back in April of 23. Now, look, as far as I know, as of today, Jamie Foxx's camp has not made any statements, but Diddy's did address it today, and Diddy's addressed it in typical Diddy legal counsel fashion, right? They denied it. That's what they do. They deny everything. They said that the claims that Diddy is responsible somehow for Jamie Foxx's hospitalization are, quote, outlandish, ridiculous, and baseless, end quote. Now, look, guys, at the end of the day, I wasn't there. I don't know what's true and what's not. All I can give you is the information being reported, and you can judge for yourself. Maybe whenever Jamie Foxx's special is out, we'll have more information. But until then, all I can say is that we have had 3 people come out and say that this was definitely not joking. We've had 2 or 3 people come out and say that he was joking, and Jamie's team has not responded to it. At the end of the day, though, you can't buy this type of publicity. You cannot buy this type of publicity. I don't know what's true, what's not, but you can't buy it. Now, let's talk about the bail hearing. And by the way, these are real sketches. If you're on TikTok, you can't see these pictures, but you can jump over to YouTube if you want to. But these are real sketches from Diddy's court hearings. But this is going to be a little bit confusing. I'm going to do my best to kind of explain through it. Not going to lie. But basically, Diddy just scored what people are calling a minor victory in his fight to get out of jail. And I'm going to break down exactly what this means and why it matters. So right now, Sean Combs, as you know, is behind bars. His legal team has been working overtime trying to get him released on bail. We know that the judge that's currently covering it said that he was not going to entertain to shut down any bail attempts. So now, with all that being said, here's where things begin to get interesting. All right. On October 24th, word got out that Diddy's bail situation took an unexpected turn. His legal team pulled what I probably had to give him credit where credit's due, a pretty smart move, in their attempt to get him free. Instead of continuing with their current bail appeal, they basically just said, hold up, we want to hit the pause, and we're going to try something a little bit different. Now, you might be wondering, what's the big deal? Why? Well, here's why this matters. First off, prosecutors in this case have been going hard. You know that they're not playing around, and they've been telling the court, look, these charges against Diddy are serious. They're violent in nature. And guess what? Not only are they violent in nature, we have strong evidence. We also have strong evidence that he does obstruct, that he's, obstruction of justice, that he's witness tampered. We have all of this. And they have been fighting tooth and nail to keep him locked up. But Diddy's lawyers just pulled a classic chess move on this. Because instead of battling it out in the current appeal, they're now pushing for a completely new bail hearing in the U.S. District Court. And their argument is apparently there are some changed circumstances that they think could change the whole game. And we're going to talk about those in a little bit here. All right. But here's what's really interesting about this strategy. By asking for a new hearing based on these new circumstances, they're essentially trying to reset the playing field. It's like saying, hey, situation's different now. We need to take a whole new, completely fresh look at this. So where does this leave us? Well, right now, Diddy's original bail appeal is on hold. All right. So the one that's going to very likely get denied, they put it on hold. And they did that while they're not canceling it at this point. They put it on hold while they're waiting for this new hearing. Now, is this going to be his ticket out? We have to wait and see. I don't think so. I don't think they're going to let him out. But one thing's for sure. His legal team is earning their money. They're pulling out all the stops. And you know what? If you're watching this now, you're watching this later, make sure to drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you think that this new strategy is going to work out, if you think that that he's going to get out based on this new one, let me know on that. Now, the other thing, I'm going to put a pin in what I believe the circumstances are when we get to something else here in a minute. Because I think that the two might be related, and I will definitely let you know. We'll circle back to it. Right. But now I want to talk about the gag order because, if you've been following the Idaho thing, there's a gag order. Now, let me make myself smaller so y'all can kind of read this. This is what was filed. If you can kind of read this, it was basically basically what this is, the file. So I was looking at the filing for this. So now, sorry, this is for his appeal. My bad. What I'm showing you right now is what they filed for the his appeal for the bail hearing. Now let me get to this one. Sorry. Gag order. There we go. If you have followed the Idaho 4 case, you know all about gag orders. And this one's interesting. This is another one that we have to kind of explain a little bit. This one's a little bit, it's crazy, guys, right? And by the way, just to let you guys know real quick, my TikTok fam on here, we got 1,300 y'all watching. I appreciate you guys. I will be getting to pictures of the raid here shortly. Any pictures I show cannot be shown on TikTok. They don't play nice with the streaming. So if you want to jump over to YouTube, link in my bio will get you to the YouTube channel. Make sure to follow while you're there. But we'll have some pictures of the raid that has been seen with the Department of Justice and other agencies showing up at the prison that he's at today. I'll have those here in a little bit just to let you guys know real quick. But the gag order, let me tell you about his latest courtroom drama because you guys have heard about this. And this one's actually pretty damn wild, if you ask me. As you know, Diddy once controlled everything in his empire, and he is trying just as hard as he did that to control the narrative around his case. And let's just say that it did not go exactly as he planned it. So here's what went down. Diddy's legal team marched into federal court with what they thought was a power move. They wanted a gag order on the government. Keep in mind, guys, that it is rare for the defense to ask for a gag order. It is rare for defense to ask for a gag order. Usually it's prosecution, but in this case, defense asked for the gag order. All right. And they wanted that gag order, like I said, against the government. And when I say government, I mean they wanted to silence everybody. We're talking federal prosecutors, Homeland Security, local law enforcement, basically anyone with a badge who might know something about this case. Why would they want to do that? Well, they're claiming that the government's been leaking confidential, damaging, and false information to the media. The biggest issue, that explosive video that surfaced showing Diddy, technically, I have to say, allegedly beating Cassie Ventura in a hallway, but we saw it with our own eyes, right? We saw it with our own eyes. I'm not going to say allegedly. Screw that. The video showing him beating the crap out of Cassie in a hotel hallway. His team is pointing fingers at Homeland Security for that leak, and they're not happy about it. And this is something that they keep saying, despite the fact that there is zero evidence that Homeland Security leaked this tape. But the part of the reason why they say that is because the tape got out. The timing of the tape was a little interesting, according to them, because when the tape leaked, if y'all remember right, that was when one of the Trump hearings was going on. And there was a break between hearings. So there was no news, because obviously when that was going on with the hearing regarding Donald Trump, that was dominating the news cycle, right? So if you had basically what they're saying is, had you released that video, it would have probably been drowned out by everything going on with the Trump, the trial that was going on in New York with Donald Trump. So they waited basically to release that when that wasn't going on, slow news cycle, and this got picked up and went everywhere. They're claiming that that was a strategic move, but there's, again, zero evidence to show that. All right? But here's where it gets interesting. The prosecutors basically said, hold up. Just wait a minute. And they looked at Diddy's request and called it plainly overboard. And they had a point, guys. Diddy's team was trying to put a muzzle on thousands of federal agents, many of whom probably couldn't pick this case file out of a lineup if they tried. The prosecutors came back with their own much smaller gag order proposal. Okay? So if you're following this, defense asked for one. Prosecution says, nah, bro, we don't like this. And they came up with one. Now, you might think that this is just lawyers being lawyers, but let's talk about what's going on here. Both sides thought they had it figured out. But Judge Subramanian looked at both proposals, looked at both of them from the defense and the prosecution, said, no, these aren't good. I don't like either one of these. I'm not approving either one of these. Instead, and this is where it gets good, the judge came up with his own solution. He basically said, look, here's what we're going to do. Both sides need to make sure everyone involved knows exactly what they can and can't say about this case. Kind of like when your parents don't pick either sibling's side in an argument, but come up with their own solution that nobody saw coming, right? If you have siblings, you've been there. And just to twist that knife a little, the judge made sure to note that there wasn't any evidence that anyone actually had showing that anything had been leaked in the first place. Now, all this is happening, of course, while Diddy is sitting in a jail cell, denied bail 3 times, waiting for his trial, which is going to be in May of 2025, assuming more things come out. I'll be shocked if it happens in May of 2025. And we all know that he's facing serious charges. You know, just to remind you guys, racketeering, conspiracy, trafficking, transporting people across state lines for prostitution. And we know he's pleading not guilty, right? But between these charges and the now failed attempt to control the narrative, it's clear his usual playbook is not working for him anymore. What has worked for him in the past for decades isn't working here. It's not working with this judge. It's not working with the feds. Now, what's really fascinating here is watching how the mighty have fallen. This is a man who used to control, and I just really want to drive this point home. A man who used to control every aspect of his empire, right down to how people talked about him in the media. I mean, think about how many NDAs we've heard about, what people were allowed to say, the threats that went out there. How many of those are coming out in these lawsuits, right? Now he can't even get a judge to approve his version of a gag order. The power dynamics have drastically shifted, and maybe for the first time in his adult life, Diddy's not the one calling the shots. The message from the judge is crystal clear. This isn't the music industry where Diddy makes the rules. It's federal court, and even John Diddy Combs has to play by somebody else's rules now. Absolutely crazy. Now, we're going to, again, this I was saying, if you guys want to see the pictures that we're going to have up here, I'm going to make myself a little bit smaller for YouTube, Facebook, and Insta. I'm going to make myself a little bit smaller here so you can kind of see. So before I get into this next part, let me tell you what you're looking at. A lot of people have asked me today, I was on live earlier doing a book signing, and a lot of people asked me, and I even had a lot of private messages about it too, is the raid on the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn real? Is it real? Is it real? Is it real? Yes. Yes, it is real. It is real. And we're going to talk about what exactly is going on. And I'm going to tell you right now off the bat that I think that Diddy has something to do with this. And I don't think that this is a bad thing, to be honest with you. I think it's actually a pretty good thing, and we're going to talk about why. But I think that Diddy's case brought a lot of public attention to this place. And so I think that, again, we'll talk about it. But the pictures that I'm showing, and there's several of them, are from, that were taken by media during this raid. So what you can see right here in this photo, for example, is this is the jailhouse. And by the way, just so y'all know, and I think I have this in my notes, so I might say it again, but it's got 1,200 people in there right now. Okay, it's got 1,200 people in there, down from the 1,600 that were there. But let's just get into it. Okay, let's just get into it. Investigators rolled up on the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn from multiple federal agencies, launching what they're calling an interagency operation. And that happened today, Monday. Now, this is the New York City jail where Diddy is being held. And we have heard it described as literal hell on earth. In fact, Diddy's lawyers have highlighted a litany of horrors at the jail, including deplorable living conditions, rampant violence, multiple deaths, using these conditions as a reason in the repeated attempts to get him released on bail. And this is why I think he has something to do with this. Last month, all right, this part has nothing to do with Diddy, but has to do with this raid. Last month, federal prosecutors charged 9 inmates in a spate of attacks from April to August at the MDC Brooklyn. Now, this is the only federal jail in New York City, and the allegations against it detail serious safety and security issues at the jail, including charges after 2 inmates were stabbed to death and another was, ready for this, speared in the spine with a makeshift ice pick. All right. A correctional officer was also, okay, make sure you heard that right. A correctional officer was also charged with shooting at a car during an unauthorized high-speed chase. Now, earlier this month, an inmate was charged in a murder for hire plot that led to the death of a 28-year-old woman last December outside of a New York City nightclub. And according to prosecutors, the inmate used a contraband cell phone to orchestrate the plot from behind bars while awaiting sentencing for directing a different shooting years earlier. Let me repeat that. This inmate, who is charged with murder for hire, while incarcerated, while in this jail, got a contraband cell phone while he's in jail for a murder for hire plot, orchestrated another murder for hire plot behind bars in this facility. All right? From a contraband cell phone that was snuck in. Make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. Now, this law enforcement operation was designed to quote, let me read what they said. This was the statement that they made. The law enforcement operation was, quote, designed to achieve our shared goal of maintaining a safe environment for both our employees and the incarcerated individuals housed at MDC Brooklyn. Additional details about what investigators were doing will not be released until the operation is complete in an effort to maintain the safety and security of all personnel inside the facility and the integrity of this operation. All right? So basically what they're saying is this is going on. It's going on right now. It's a massive investigation. It is the only facility like this in New York. And here's why I say at the beginning of this that I think Diddy's responsible for this. And look, here's what I'm going to say, and you guys can agree with me or disagree with me on this or whatever. We live in a country where our prisons are for-profit prisons. Now, this is a jail, but it's for-profit prisons, right? The conditions are terrible. And I'm not saying that you did a crime that you deserve to have like the best conditions. I'm not saying that even a little bit, but you deserve to not have like rats gnawing at you, food that's infested with disease and moldy things like that. You know, there are still basic human rights, you know, even if you're there. Now, do I think that Diddy deserves to get like the steaks and all these nice things? No, get what everybody else gets, but at least have a condition where these inmates can feel safe, you know, because if you have people who are facing life, they don't care. That's, you know what I'm saying? It's bad. And again, you don't have to agree with me on that, but if you look at how other countries, and if you want to look at rehabilitation, things like that, for those who are getting out, it's a whole different discussion. We can talk about it on a different live. But this place, my understanding, is absolutely god awful. Now, like I said, switching gears real quick, and I don't have, let me show you guys the rest of the pictures of this real quick as we do this. I forgot to change them as we were going. I got kind of in my thing. These are some of the pictures here, guys, of them rolling up. I mean, look at how many people are out here at this. You got, you know, federal agencies. That's this car you can see. That's the Department of Justice right there. FBI, New York PD. That is Port Authority Police, New York State Police. There's the Federal Bureau of Prisons in front of it. You know, local police, things like that, right? So you see all that. Now, before I was late getting this live started, and the reason for that is because we had breaking news. We had breaking news. All right. We have a new accuser. I've been waiting all day. Real quick, everybody on TikTok's asking. You cannot see photos on TikTok. TikTok doesn't play nice. You can only see them on YouTube, Insta, and Facebook. So if you'd like to see them, you can jump over to YouTube. They are saved there. TikTok doesn't play nice with other things, so that's where you have to see it. But we have, let me see if I can get this pulled up so I can show you all the headline here real quick. Again, this came in so last minute, I didn't get a chance to like pull anything over here on this. Let me share this screen real quick for y'all. All right, here is our new headline right here. Let's get it pulled up. Again, if you are trying to watch this on TikTok, you can't see photos. TikTok doesn't play nice with the streaming capabilities, but you guys can kind of see this. This victim is 10 years old. He was 10, a boy, 10 years old at the time that this happened. All right, 10. I don't know how many lawsuits were filed today. I know that this one was. Hopefully I can have an answer for that shortly. And this has not been out very long. I did a video on it, but we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about it. So this one, I would say, is one of the more stunning ones as well. All right. This one is a bombshell, and it is horrific. And I'm going to give you guys a trigger warning right now on it. All right. For those of y'all who need a trigger warning, consider this it. Okay. So this was filed today, Monday, October 28th in New York. This one by a John Doe accuser. And according to this lawsuit, he flew to New York City with his parents in the summer of 2005. And he did this for an audition with Diddy. He claims that Diddy said he wanted to meet him alone before meeting his whole family. The man says that he's now a man. He was a child then. He was 10 years old, but he's a man now. So the man says that he met Diddy at a hotel near Madison Square Garden. And there he performed, rapped several songs, which went well. And Diddy said, I can make you a star. I can make you a star. That's when Diddy became Diddy. He asked the boy, the 10-year-old, the child, how badly do you want to be a star? How badly do you want it? And the kid replied what any 10-year-old would do, a normal 10-year-old. I would do anything. At that point, he claims that somebody from Diddy's team gave him a soda. After drinking it, he started to feel a little funny. Similar MO to 90% of the lawsuits we've talked about. He believes, of course, that it was laced. He feels that it was laced. Then Diddy began to tell him to come closer, and said something to the effect of, you have to do stuff you don't want to do sometimes. He told him, you have to do some stuff that you don't want to do sometimes. Then Diddy allegedly whipped it out and forced him to perform an act on him. And afterwards, during or afterwards, the child passed out. When he woke up, he alleges his pants were undone. And he believes, because I guess you can only say allegedly here, he believes that he had been AR'd. A 10-year-old boy had been AR'd. He says that when he was still lethargic, still feeling the effects of the drugs, and this part breaks my heart, guys, when he began crying out for his mom and his dad. Crying out for his mom and his dad. Diddy then allegedly threatened to harm, unalive the kid's parents if he told them what happened. But the kid didn't listen, and he told his parents anyways. But unfortunately, and I'm trying real hard not to victim blame parents here. I'm trying real hard, guys. I'm trying real hard because I don't like doing that. And I'm not in that situation. I'm not in the situation of them. But they were terrified to report to police due to the potential consequences. So it was never reported. Since then, this guy claims that he's lived with night terrors, who was deprived of having a normal childhood. It's affected him for the rest of his life. Now, of course, we have the copy and paste legal response from Diddy's team. Let's read it. I could almost at this point recite this like blindly. The lawyer behind the lawsuit, this is Diddy's legal team response. The lawyer behind this lawsuit is interested in media attention rather than the truth, as is obvious from his constant press appearances and 800 number. As we've said before, Mr. Combs cannot respond to every new publicity stunt, even in response to claims that are facially ridiculous or demonstrably false. They added that they're fully confident in the judicial process and believe, quote, the truth will prevail that Mr. Combs never essayed or trafficked anyone, man, woman, adult, or minor. Now, here's the thing about this, guys. Here is the thing about this. Diddy said he didn't do Cassie either. He didn't beat up Cassie, he didn't hurt Cassie, he didn't harm Cassie. He said all of that. Lo and behold, it comes out. Then all of a sudden, he's taking to social media with a brand new video apologizing for his actions. He didn't apologize or own up to it when it happened. He apologized for it after the fact, y'all. After the fact. That apology, by the way, has since been deleted. But that guy, if you remember that apology, I should find it and play it. But that, I'm not going to do it on this show, but we should do it on a different one. That apology was, I'm sorry I got caught. There was no sincerity to it other than, I'm sorry I got caught. That's all it was. He didn't expect that to be surfaced, just like all of this stuff. So you have 30-something lawsuits that have been filed against him, maybe 40-something. I don't know how many were filed today, but you have a ton of lawsuits against him. We know there's 300 more, give or take, coming between Tony Busby and other offices. We had somebody on last night who's had stories, not even SA, but Diddy tried to unalive him back in the 90s. Back in the 90s when he was early on over something dumb. Go watch the video, guys. Watch it. It was the one that I did yesterday on YouTube. It was the one we did last night with Relentless Aaron. Listen to his story. Diddy has been this way, guys, for decades. But let me tell you something. I'm always going to take the stance. Always that I believe victims until there is a reason to not believe them. I'm not going to sit here and be naive and tell you that every single person that comes out there is telling the God's honest truth. I'm not going to be that person. But more often than not, when you're talking about cases like this, dragging yourself through a very public endeavor is not something that you're doing for attention. When you're doing it for as John Doe, you're not doing it for attention. All right? But there are so many people with similar MOs, similar stories, men, women, people who were boys and girls at the time that this happened, that he used these people for whatever gratification. He tried to take out people for whatever gratification. And one of the points that we made last night when we were talking about to Relentless Aaron is, had he been unalived back in the 90s, he would have been another cold case. This is New York in the 90s, Black community. And let's just call it what it is. You might not like hearing it, but if you were alive back then and you think about the Rodney King beating and the protests, and you think about what NWA was rapping about, what Tupac was rapping about, and all those things that were going on, the police weren't going to go out of their way to try to solve a crime where a Black guy might have been shot at all. It just wouldn't have happened. That's just how it was back then. And in some places, it's still not better. But that's how it was back then. So he would have been a cold case. We would never know his name. His kids wouldn't exist. How many more people are there like that Diddy was successful with? How many more like that he was successful with, that he shipped overseas, like the one lawsuit said, that he had unalived and they disappeared? How many? I don't know. We might not ever know, guys. We might not ever know. Anyways, I can guarantee you that we have more cases coming out. This is the one today. Tony Busby never drops one. He drops, I think the first time was 5 or 6 cases, then 7. So I don't know how many there were total. I'm sure that we're going to get that update soon enough. And as soon as we do, I'll make sure to make a video letting you guys know. We will talk about any more updates that come out, of course, tomorrow. So no matter where you're watching, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, make sure to hit that follow button. Make sure to subscribe. Guys, this is a big thing. This whole case is big. I mean, think about this. Every single day since this man's arrest, we have been able to fill a 30-minute to an hour show, mostly around about 45 minutes, every single day with the new information coming out for over a month now, for about a month and a half. Every single day, we have been able to talk about more things that are oftentimes worse and more horrific than the previous day. I've covered a lot of cases. I've talked about a lot of true crime. I've never seen anything like this. It's insane. It's absolutely insane, guys. Anyways, y'all, I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you guys supporting the content. Again, if you don't mind doing me a massive, where did my thing go? A massive solid here. I can't lost my thing. Hold on. Where'd it go? I want to make sure I have no thing. All right, I got everything. Just want to make sure before I left. Anyways, I appreciate you guys supporting. And if you want to stay updated on everything happening with Diddy's case and other things, this is not the only thing I talked to, but it's been like the biggest case ever. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to hit that follow button, and make sure to turn on those notifications. Also, like I said, even though people on Instagram were not happy that I was doing the thing that I do to pay my bills, which is showing the books that I wrote. Jill, yes, I believe the raid is still going on. If you'd like to support me through TikTok Shop or through my website, justthennickofcrime.com, which is in the description of this video, please, you can purchase the books. If you are a grandparent, a parent, nieces, nephews, whatever you have, I promise you it is the cost for both of these books. They come with free shipping. When you buy as a bundle or buy a hardcover, I promise you it is a cheap investment for the safety that it brings. I promise you that. Anyways, y'all, I appreciate you guys. We will see y'all tomorrow. Have a good one, everyone.